A few weeks ago, I was looking forward to eating some leftover Thanksgiving turkey. I asked my daughter to bring me home some cranberry sauce. I told her I liked the kind with the berries in it. She brought me home a can. It was a well-known brand. When I opened the can, I noticed it was half full of jelly. There were a number of berries at the bottom, but it clearly wasn't what I was hoping for. A few days later, we still had some turkey that had not been eaten, but we'd used up all of the cranberry sauce. I rummaged through the pantry to see if by chance there was any cans of cranberry sauce from last year. There was. I checked the expiration date, still good, and it was the kind with the berries. But it was a different brand than what my daughter had purchased the previous week. In fact, it was a brand that I'd never heard of. When I opened the can, I noticed it was cranberries from top to bottom. I thought, aha, I'll bet it's a privately held company. I went on the internet to check. Sure enough, the can that I had opened a few days earlier that was half jelly was a well-known household name, a public company. The new can, which was full of cranberries, was a totally different eating experience. Like I said, I like the berries. I was curious enough later that week that I made a special trip to the store just to buy cranberries. The turkey was all gone and I didn't need any more cranberry sauce, but I wanted to check out my theory. I found the two brands of cranberries and purchased them and brought them home. I opened both cans, like I suspected. The publicly traded company, the household name, the one that was the most expensive brand, was the lowest quality with half jelly. The other brand, a privately held company, certainly was far better quality, solid berries from top to bottom, and a much tastier product. Why would that be, you might ask? Why would the publicly held company produce the product with the lowest quality and the highest price? If you're paying attention, you already know that it's almost always that way, and for good reason. Public companies are driven by stock price. Their executives are paid bonuses based on the stock price. In fact, the CEO, the vice president of marketing, directors of marketing, and so forth, usually receive stock as part of their compensation. So it's to their advantage to get the stock price up. Most of these executives don't plan to be at their company very long. 5 years is about the average for an executive to stay at any one company before they move on to the next company. To receive bigger bonuses and to feather their resumes, they need to increase profits today. Now, stock prices are driven by the profitability of the company. Now, to increase profits, they need to increase revenue or decrease expenses. They can try to increase the price to increase revenues, but they're hampered in doing that because if they increase the price too much, no one will buy their product. So the other alternative is to lower costs. Lowering costs almost always mean lowering quality. Cranberries are the most expensive ingredient in cranberry sauce. Therefore, the best way to take the cost down is to remove some of the cranberries and replace it with cheap jelly that is mostly sugar. So when the VP of marketing suggests that they take out the cranberries to increase the profit, the CEO is quick to approve the proposal. Now, take a private company, especially a company that doesn't ever plan to go public. Since there's no stock price, there's no desire to drive the stock price up. Of course, you want to be profitable, but enough is enough. Executives of the privately held company are not compensated by receiving stock. Executives running public companies are governed by short-term goals. Privately held companies can afford to focus on long-term goals. Their growth strategy is often to increase the number of customers buying their product. They know that quality will do that. It might take time, but quality is always the answer to improving the amount of customers you've got buying your products. Now, Melaleuca is a privately held company. We don't worry about stock price. We focus on our mission of enhancing lives. We want Melaleuca to be known for quality, safety, and taking care of the environment. We've created products that help people live longer, healthier, more vibrant lives. We're debt-free and profitable. We've defined ourselves as a growth company. In other words, our objective is to grow to impact more lives next year than we did this year. When I leave this earth, I want to leave a company with a stellar reputation of enhancing lives. Now, we don't sell cranberry sauce, but if we did, we would not take out the berries to increase our profits. There's simply a huge difference between us and the publicly traded companies in how we think and how we operate. And since most consumer goods in America are manufactured by publicly traded companies, this leaves a tremendous opportunity for Melaleuca. There's a huge void for quality products, especially in the arena of wellness products. That's the main reason we have grown so quickly. As people continue to discover the difference with Melaleuca products, our growth will continue to accelerate. I'm really proud of all those who've built this company. I'm very aware that this entire company has been created by thousands of average people with tremendous heart and courage. It takes courage for people to get out of their comfort zone to tell people about Melaleuca products. I'm grateful for the thousands who've gone out of their way to do so. We often celebrate the movers and the shakers. We walk them across the stage and we give them big checks. But we often overlook those who just brought one or two customers to us. And yet, those people are extremely valuable to us. Even if you have enrolled just one customer, I want you to know you have made a big difference for us. In fact, over half of our customers have been brought to us by people who've enrolled fewer than 10 customers. So you don't have to be a massive enroller to have tremendous value to Melaleuca. Now, let me give some advice to those of you who are endeavoring to build a thriving Melaleuca business. There is great folly in comparing ourselves with others. Just because someone else is moving faster than you, or someone else has done more than you, don't underestimate your value. Don't get discouraged when you hear the stories of rapid advancements. And don't underestimate how proud we are of you and how much we appreciate what you've done. Don't discount your contribution just because it appears that someone else has done more than you or done it faster. Your consistency is much more valuable than their flash in the pan. Now, we're all in this together. I'm no different than you. We're all just average people trying to do our part, and every part helps. Regardless of what you see someone else doing, set your own pace, knowing that every customer counts. Celebrate everyone. The most valuable activity is reaching out to those on your contact list to make appointments. Celebrate every time you make a phone call. You can celebrate your success even when they turn you down because you did your part. You followed through. You made the call. You're doing what every successful Melaleuca marketing executive has done, setting appointments, making presentations. They won't all say yes today. Don't expect them to. Remember, no means simply not now. I need more information. You can give them more information tomorrow or next week or next month. Eventually they will come. All roads lead to Melaleuca. The day will come when no one can afford not to be a Melaleuca preferred member. They can't find these kinds of products anywhere else. They need us. They need what we have. If they don't enroll today, it's simply because they simply need more information. And as people learn more about us, as our reputation continues to grow, eventually they will all come. But for now, it's one customer at a time. Celebrate every tiny success. Thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for helping us change lives. This is a fun and exciting business, so establish your goals and set about making those phone calls. If you discipline yourself and don't allow yourself to get distracted, you will reach your goals. It's only a matter of time.
记得点赞关注哦。